All right, welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Up this time is Spirit Hunters Infinite Horde. You are the Spirit Hunters in this action roguelike. Action roguelite. Once again, there is a difference. Slay huge waves of monsters and harvest their souls for ever-increasing powers. Unlock many playable characters, abilities, maps, and more through a deep progression system. Spirit Hunters Infinite Horde is actually a game we have featured in this arena before. About a year ago, we covered Spirit Hunters in early access. And in that video, impressions vid, whatever you want to call it, Galax did the impressions there. It is now, the present day, so to speak, at time of recording. That is to say, it's a year later from that.
Man, I want to do a recording where it's not present time.
Well, we can do post-present time later.
Yeah. I mean, it will be past time when the recording gets well recorded and frozen in time, but that's how temporal mechanics work. Anyway, so it's a year later. The game is out in 1.0 release. That being said, do not expect us to refer back too much to the original video because, okay, first of all, I'm handling the reviewing duties instead of Galax. So...
Yes, Days of Future Recordings past.
Yeah. And more to the point, that was a year ago. We go through a lot of games. Memory retention isn't always the best.
Especially for our group.
Yeah. That being said, getting into the game itself. So this game calls itself a action roguelite. It's probably more proper to call this a Vampire Survivor-like. I mean, I don't think that's an official term.
Well, that's a thing now.
Yeah, I don't think that's an official term yet. But, well, look at this thing. Especially since we have covered the actual Vampire Survivor game not too long ago. And I know we covered one of the clones back in December. I don't remember
the clones.
Yeah. That being said, I did find this one to stand out a bit more than the other game that we covered that I already forgot the name of. And, that was half a year ago. And this is what I'm talking about. When you go through 4 games a week, info dumps happen. But yeah, it's got a lot of the tropes and accoutrements of Vampire Survivor. Hordes of enemies, auto attacks, crystals upgrades, the ability to select 4 weapons. I'm trying to remember if that was the amount you could have in Vampire Survivor. I think it was. The goal of lasting 15 minutes to get to a boss. Oh, yeah, that's here. The Securitist waves of enemies showing up. See. Trying to remember Vampire Survivor had the chest or the treasure collecting aspect that this game has.
Probably.
Because you got... Yeah. I want to say yes. But that was definitely... it was definitely a thing that stood out to me. Because like right here, you're standing by a well, in this case, a rock that contains crystal. I believe crystals from the meta progression are contained here. And you have to wait a bit in order for them to unlock. And I think the twist here is it's got quite the variety, because like here you're unlocking a pet cage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that being said, I didn't find this game stood out too much mechanically from Vampire Survivor. No. The way this game stands out is artistically. Because this game is very different in terms of its presentation and art style than Vampire Survivor. Like, recall, Vampire Survivor has a decidedly faux retro aesthetic going on. Like, it looks like an 8 or 16-bit work with the pixelated graphics and everything. This has high-res hand-drawn art that's not going for a retro aesthetic. I'm not exactly sure what to call it, other than like modern. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the meta progression is also a bit more involved than it was in Vampire Survivors. Like the basics still work. Like instead of golds, it's like crystals or diamonds or something of that. And once your run is done, win or lose, you are allowed to unlock various things. Usually upgrades for your characters. Here, it's a lot more elaborate. In that, not only do you unlock upgrades for your characters, you unlock new pets, new places, everything here. Okay, I'm trying to get to what I didn't like about this progression system. It's because it's linked to the in-game progress, like the progress, the in-game performance, more deeply than Vampire Survivor is. Vampire Survivor is just get the gold and unlock the things. In Spirit Hunters, it's unlock the get the currency, unlock the things, but it's also kill a certain amount of monsters. But the thing that really grinded my gears was the missions. Like a lot of progression is locked behind missions. And what are missions? Well, that is tackling a level with a specific build. Like the most basic one for your starting mage here, or one of the starting mage, is I think Magus. Yeah, I think is having the orbital fireball and the plant vine, and not getting two of the other upgrades, and having those upgrades get upgraded to level 20.
Is that the highest level?
No. The highest level is level 25. Like, for each upgrade.
So just a lot.
Yeah. And the thing is, I had to run through that at least 4 times because, I kept winning before I could get all the upgrades. Like, I suppose, I suppose if nothing else, you change your play style. You learn to get more aggressive, and also to utilize things like going to the not the some of the unlocks where they will have clumps of the upgrade currency. I forget what, like the ore, let's call it. Or you go to the tent there. That tent is actually a shop, and will unlock, will dispense different things via the gold you get. Like, and yeah, the actual the internal upgrades, the weapon upgrades that you encounter in a stage. This is pure Vampire Survivor here. See, you can get various currencies, health. Sometimes they have a pet available. And what it really comes down to, like, it's outside of the subtler differences. If you played Vampire Survivor, you've played this game. I think it's easier than Vampire Survivor. I remember Vampire Survivor being really hard. Maybe that changes depending on the stage. But I really think the main differential here is the art. Like, if you don't want to go for retro, this is probably your game. In terms of pricing, this game clocks in at $7.99. That's a bit on the expensive side for something that's aping Vampire Survivor, but I'm guessing that's down to what can be called a increase in production values. So, any other questions, comments, or concerns about Spirit Hunters Infinite Horde here?
Not really.
Yeah,
all right, then.
I'm satisfied.
All right, then. That'll about do it for Spirit Hunters. That'll take care of this review session as well. Coming up on the week ahead, as soon as I make sure I am in the hang on. There we go. Yes. So, first of all, programming notes. Petty is scheduled to have his surgery on Wednesday. So, the working plan for us is to have Gollix take over the streaming on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will go smoothly. But there is also a chance that his surgery may be canceled and he will be helming things on Wednesday. But do not hold out hope for it. With that in mind, on Wednesday, July 5th, we'll be having Matt Rithel of Graphite Lab back on the program. Yes, we did have him back on, I think about 10 years ago. I do remember it was very early days in this program. Not just the Talk Shoe era, but he was on the program when Naka and Ogre were the support team here. Mm-hmm. That's how long ago we're talking. And I do recall that when we had him on the program, we talked about High Jump for the Wii U. Yeah, this is also when the Wii U was ostensibly alive. With that in mind, we'll be talking about his latest project, which is Mr. Jump and Run, which is being handled by Atari.
Oh man.
Yeah. No Friday show this week. I did not want to schedule a Friday show under the circumstances. So there is no Friday show. There is a new episode of MSP planned, and no worries there on the tech side of things since Mac handles everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and also in terms of the Sunday reviews.
I mean, aside from the usual Mac tech worries, but those are relatively minor.
Also, those are endemic to him. But anyway, in terms of next week's reviews, they may be taking place on Monday because Petty might be still waylaid in the hospital until then.
Yeah,
so
we have no idea when they're going to release me other than if the surgery happens possibly the next day, or they could hold me over the weekend depending on if there are any complications.
So, yeah. Bit touch and go in terms of our tech backbone here. Like, it seems like this when I wish I had a laptop powerful enough to handle everything, but that costs a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money. Like, a couple thousand, I think.
Kidney selling money. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Like, anyway, until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.